Hi, this is Coach Carly with BTY. Here at BTY, we're interested in improving the quality of your movement first and foremost before we add a lot of load and volume and intensity on top of those movements. So one of the main movement quality variables that we like to look at is posture. Posture is important for a lot of reasons. For our purposes, the main things that we are focused on is improving performance and decreasing your risk for injury, and posture has an impact on both of those things. So when you are standing in proper alignment and proper posture, the right muscles can fire in the right sequence, which is going to allow you to perform better and decrease your risk for injury. When you are not aligned, however, then the right muscles can't fire in the right pattern. So take kind of the typical seated posture where your hips are tilted forward here, you have that big sway in your back. In this position, you can do all the core and glute exercises you want. The core and the glutes are not in a position of mechanical advantage. They can't fire as strongly or as efficiently as they could. What can fire really strongly here is your back and your hips, the muscles in your back and the muscles in your hips. And where a lot of people tend to have pain, especially if they have a job that they're sitting a whole lot, is in their back or in their hips. It can even work its way down to the knees because in this forward tilted posture, all the force is going forward here, and a lot of that stress is going to go to the knees instead of having the bigger muscles take more of that load. And so what we like to look at from a postural perspective is we want your head, your rib cage, and your pelvis or your hips to all be lined up properly, because that's what's going to have kind of the biggest bang for your buck from a postural standpoint. If you can get those 3 points in alignment, everything else tends to kind of follow suit. And so we're talking about the head. We'll think about kind of the typical seated posture. There's some different ways that posture can go off, but most people sit too much and they fall into some pretty predictable patterns. So the first one is going to be head. Most people, if they're sitting at a computer all day, their head tilts forward like this. And so you'll see a lot of people that are a little more rounded through there. Obviously that's kind of an exaggerated expression, but a little bit of a forward head lean, a little bit of rounded shoulder position, and that all kind of comes back to the head. And so we can bring our shoulders back here, but if my head's still here, that neck is gonna have a really big impact on your shoulder health. And so a lot of people with shoulder issues tend to just stretch where it hurts or get massage right where it hurts, which are good kind of symptom treatment things. But a lot of times that's coming from the neck to begin with. So if we get that neck in a better position, that's gonna help the shoulder pain as well. What we see a lot of times, most people know this isn't a good posture, but the way they fix it is by doing this. And so when we come here and bring our head forward, it compresses the vertebrae. So when we kind of keep this position and just pull back like this, it adds more compression on there. So it looks better from a postural perspective from the outside looking in, but we're not actually solving the problem. We might even be making it a little bit worse. So instead, what you want from a head perspective is you want to feel like the crown of your head is going straight up to the sky. So you can think of like a string pulling up to the sky. You want to be tall through here so you're not collapsed down. And you want to feel like you're trying to make a double chin with your chin. So you're kind of pulling in here a little bit more instead of letting your chin jut out there. It's going to feel exaggerated the first couple times you do it. You don't have to be in this really weird double chin, rigid position. But essentially you want chin down, crown of the head up, and then you want that crown of the head sit right on top of the rib cage. So we'll go down to the rib cage next. A lot of times people stand in this position where their rib cage is really flared here. And so it's kind of hard to see with my sweatshirt, but if you think of like this being your ribs, a lot of people, their ribs are kind of flaring out this way, and at least kind of that sway back position. And so we want head up, but rib cage down. And so the easiest way to kind of find that rib cage position is to use your breathing. And so your breathing is going to tie into your posture a whole lot. It's actually another one of the movement qualities that we work on a lot here. But if you take a deep breath in, put your hands on your rib cage here, take a deep breath into your hands, and then blow all that air out, you should feel those ribs going down. What we want from a rib and hip perspective is you want to feel like your rib cage and your hips stay connected here. Not in a rounded position necessarily. We still want to be tall through here, but we don't want to be swayed here. So we want rib cage down, hips tucked underneath, which brings us to the hips next. Most people have this forward sway in their hips. So if you think of your hips like a bucket of water, instead of being a bucket that's not spilling water out here, most people have their bucket spilling water out the front, so their hips are tilted forward like this. And so we want to bring hips back underneath. So if you can think of just kind of scooping under here, it's a hard thought, it's a hard feeling for a lot of people to get. So a lot of times it helps to actually put your hands on your hips and feel like this pointer finger comes up towards your rib cage, those thumbs go down towards the back of the knee. Another way of thinking that is hips come up to the rib cage, back pockets go down to the back of the knee. It's helpful even to do a couple like sway back and forth just to kind of get some of that hip control there. All of these are kind of bigger issues that some might be easier for you to correct than others, but it's worth knowing that big picture posture-wise, we want crown of the head to the sky, chin down, not up. We want rib cage down, not flared up, and we want hips kind of scooped underneath here a little bit more, not swayed back this way. If you want more fitness tips like this or sports drills to do, subscribe to our YouTube page, and we will see you next time.